It figures. Oh dear, does it figure? Here I am. Here I am, as professional as ever. Um, without a bottle of water next to me, or without notes, or without anything. The height of professionalism, kids. Hey, LaBelle, lovely to see you. Um, Welcome to Catt Chatt, everybody. My name is Tom Cat, and today we're going to be talking about being yourself. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this was because as a cosplayer and as cosplayers, we um we are very attached to the characters that we cosplay as. We have you need water. I need it, for SpongeBob's sake. Um no, but today we're talking about, hey Hector. Hey Johnny. Um we're here to talk about basically character ownership. Now, character ownership is very different from drag, because with drag queens, that's their character. That is the visage that they put on. Whereas with cosplayers are a character. So you're cosplaying a specific character. Drag, that character is your character. You have, as a drag queen, you have created this character. It's very much like D&D, very much like Dungeons and Dragons. You've created this character. You've molded this character in your image. You're essentially a god. But when it comes to cosplay, you're at the mercy of the creators of that character. Um, and sometimes people take it just a little too far. There are a couple of examples. We'll use me as an example because I'm such an easy target, darlings. We'll focus on me because, again, I am such an easy character. I'm an easy target. We'll take Ursula. I love the character of Ursula. I feel that, I, first and foremost, let me start off by saying you can cosplay whomever the hell you want. You can cosplay whoever the hell you want. You can cosplay as Tomcat. You can cosplay as Ursula. You can cosplay as B. Arthur. You can cosplay as anybody that I've cosplayed as. I'd like to see you do a better job, but I encourage people to cosplay whomever they please. There really is no right or wrong way to cosplay. There is, however, a right or wrong way to judge people. I'm adept at both. But having said that, there's already so many costumes. So many costumes, so many comments. Anton says, hey, sweet cakes. LaBelle says, as Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. Mario says, you say that as I just found one of my props pretty much destroyed, and like, fuck, it hurts. I get it, baby. I'm so sorry. Um Oh, good evening, my loves. Yes, Josh, we did chat about this a little bit. Um People getting inspired by other people. I kind of. So in my travels, and again, we'll stick to using me as an example because I'm just such an easy target. When I first started cosplaying as Ursula, I loved the idea of wearing similar things that I think Ursula would have worn. Like I would Disney bound constantly. In terms of Ursula, I would wear the necklace, I would wear the jewelry, I would wear the eyeshadow and the lipstick and the purple and the black, and I would pretty much center my wardrobe around that character. And that type of mentality can really damage. That type of mentality can really damage, because I have inspired a few people. Louis, you inspire me every day, darling. But there's inspiration, and then there's taking complete and total advantage of the person that you're dressing up as. Um, and again, when I for the longest time in the primordial stages of the cosplay community, before it was as big as it is now, there were a lot of people that got very hurt and very bent out of shape if they saw anybody else cosplaying as the same character. Now, I have news for you. That's going to happen whether you want it to or not. The character, you don't own the characters. The characters don't belong to you. Unless you or I decide to buy the rights of the character, which I'm sure is a very pricey price tag. A very high price tag, pricey price tag. I kill myself. Um, but a very high price tag. You don't own the characters unless you've created the character yourself. You do not own the rights to that character, so you in turn cannot say I'm the only one that's supposed to dress up as that character. You're not. Do you know how much of an asshole you sound like? I mean, really, do you know how much of an asshole you sound like? Because I think you do need to hear. um but then there's sometimes that relationship, the relationship that a person has with the person that they're cosplaying, with the character that they're cosplaying as, just becomes so toxic. It becomes so toxic because you know that that is a connection that has been manifested into this larger than life thing. Um, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm just saying that I have seen it. I have seen people use the characters as sort of an escape from the real, which is fine. Cosplay, I feel, is one of the great escapes in terms of cosplay, any sort of creative field, uh, any sort of um, any sort of creative field is an opportunity to manifest a toxic relationship with something. Anything could become a toxic relationship if you let it. Um, where my God Almighty, hello, 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 all. Mario says, "Okay, everyone, cosplay Tomcat. You'll need stilts." Um, LaBelle, I would love to see you, LaBelle, cosplay as Ursula. I would pay good money to see you as Ursula. Chrissy, good evening. Lewis, are we talking about people getting inspired by other people? Because I have inspired a few people. Yes, we know that. Lewis, that is very true. I know I'm an asshole. You're not an asshole, darling. Please don't sell yourself short like that. You're an absolute gem of a human being, and I love and worship you. Johnny laughs. Mark says, I'll just say, even if you do own the rights to the character, the New York State Court of Appeals has said that imitation is legally protected flattery. See Lohan vs. Take Two Interactive Software Inc. 31 NY3D111. Thank you, Mark, for the lesson. I appreciate you. Nadell, yes, the thousands of Deadpools, Harley Quinns, and Elsas. You don't own them, and that's why interpretation is key. Lewis says, I have had an individual watch me perform as certain characters, and they have done 3 or 4 different characters that I have done after watching me. I always feel like somebody's watching me. But you know what, Nadell? Let's address the Deadpools, the Harley Quinns, and Elsas. Some of those communities are, because of course in the cosplay community there are subcategories. There's always going to be subcategories. Uh, with cosplay, there's a subcategory of Deadpools, a subcategory of Harleys, a subcategory of Elsas, a subcategory of other Disney princesses or Marvel characters or DC characters. There's subcategories. There's all subcategories. Um, and they all breed a sort of individual. When it comes to cosplay, again, there really is no right or wrong way to do it, just so long as you're not being a douchebag about it. And that is the key point here. You can cosplay whomever the hell you want, but as soon as you say, I am the only one who can cosplay as that character. I am the only one who can dress as that character. I have worn this outfit from this series or this outfit from this cartoon. And that still does not make you better or worse for having done that. And I feel like this is something that really needs to be addressed, because there are so many people out there that don't understand. There are so many people that don't understand. Don't And this ties into everything. Be yourself. Be your most authentic self. You can be influenced, and like Lewis had mentioned, you can be inspired. You can be inspired by certain things, but you don't. It's all about control. You can't control a character that isn't yours. All you can do is be inspired by it, but don't make that character your whole life. Yes, I'm saying this is a B. Arthur impersonator, but there's always limit. Everything in moderation, kids. Everything in moderation. Um. Oh my goodness gracious! So many comments. I love you all to pieces. LaBelle says, I've done Ursula a lot. I even do a great vocal impersonation of Pat Carroll as Ursula. I still have yet to hear that. Chrissy says, the biggest current cosplays. I like that, cosplays. That's good, Chrissy. Nadell says, knowing so many love to cosplay what is popular in that moment, I can't fathom why so many bother getting so mad at someone cosplaying as their favorite character or the character that is popular in that moment. But then again, I've heard horror stories from the Disney princess verse. I think it comes from a lack of something in the real world outside of the fantasy, hence the possessiveness. Again, it's all about that control. It's all about saying, this is mine. This is what I'm wearing. This is it is a screen accurate interpretation. It is the closest to the screen accurate version that you're going to get, and it is mine. And that's seek therapy. Cause that's what you need, darling. Um, don't Mario says, don't make the character your whole life. Stares at my LARPing gear, and that's pretty much my life, and I miss him dearly. Now, hold on there, because again, I addressed this early on in the episode. When it comes to LARPing and Dungeons and Dragons and drag and all that fun stuff, you as a person have created that character. You have, well, we'll take LaBelle as an example. My darling friend, real name Seneca. Seneca has taken LaBelle, and that's LaBelle's. LaBelle is LaBelle's. Your character, Mario, that you LARP as is your character. We'll take more drag queens. Bianca Del Rio, that's Roy Halleck's character. Roy has created Bianca Del Rio. That's his. Same thing with any drag queen. The drag queens have taken the time to create and manifest this character, and that is them. That is theirs. They own it because it is their commercial property. When it comes to other characters, specifically when it comes to cosplay, I do not own Ursula the Sea Witch. I do not own Beatrice Arthur. I do not own Morticia Adams. I do not own any of the characters that I've cosplayed or plan to cosplay or impersonate for that matter. All I can do as a drag queen is create Tomcat. Now, I still have a bit of a time trying to figure out a brand for Tomcat in terms of drag, but my brand is female impersonation, character impersonation. That's me. That's my wheelhouse. For other people, it's different. It's when the relationship becomes so toxic. Now, I am unfamiliar with certain drag queens, but I am positive that there are some drag queens that have their character do some not so good things. Um, I can't really think of any ideas off the top of my head, but I'm sure that there are people out there, there are creatives out there that have created the characters to sort of um help act as a guide through bad habits. It almost like some of those characters are a security blanket. That's when things begin to get a little dodgy. That's when things need to be looked over with a fine-toothed comb almost. What, my goodness gracious, so many things are happening in the comments. Oh, Mario, I love you too, darling. Nadell says, this is why I like coming up with my own characters or modding the look of a classic character, because then nobody can say shit about it, and it's true. LaBelle says, I work in a huge Halloween costume company. Our worst customers are those particular cosplayers of which you're speaking. Please. Sometimes, like I say, the relationship that some cosplayers have to cosplaying is incredibly toxic. Nicole says, excuse. P.S. I can help you bounce off ideas from one Miss Cat. Thank you, darling. I know you like my kitten with a whip situation where I have my corsets and my brassiere and my whole body is shaven. Very Betty Page. Nicole says, excuse my ignorance. I feel like I would make a great Joey Arias. Or a type of Joey Arias. Nicole says, please excuse my ignorance, but are there really people out there hollering at other cosplayers because they are dressed like the same character? I'm not denying it, it just sounds so incredibly crazy. I can understand when people are inspired by variations, but is it I dress like Wonder Woman? Yes, 100%, Nicole. I'm not being facetious. I'm not lying. I am familiar with several individuals who act this way. And it's really a dreadful, again, it all has to do with control and power. It all has to do with those two mentalities. And I know that's four, but go with me on this one. Bad Habits glares at Deadpool's. I mean, yes, Deadpool cosplayers more often than not have the same type of rapport that Harley Quinn cosplayers or Joker cosplayers have. People who need to seek therapy glances to the right. I mean, yes. Aaron says, reminds me of when people compare their relationship to Joker and Harley. Big guy. Oh, we can do an entire episode on relationships, my friend Aaron. It becomes a very toxic, very unfortunate relationship. If, for instance, again, we'll take me. If I told another Ursula cosplayer, you don't look good, mine looks better. It's happened. I've seen it. That is when I have to take myself out of the character and say, what am I doing? Why am I saying that? I'm not in control. And you know, my therapist tells me all the time, you need to know when to let go of you need to know when you can't control things. And I'm like, I know, but I really wanna. I really want to control things. But that's the reality of the situation. There are people that want to control who can and can't cosplay the character that they themselves also cosplay as. Actually, LaBelle, you'd be very proud of me. I have 4 or 5 vintage Judith Ann dresses. I intend on using them for drag looks. Where am I? Mario says, Bitch Pudding plays games on Twitch and they're great and probably one of my favorite drag queens. Trixie Mattel the same. Does the same thing on Twitch with video games. I love when people do more than just one thing. Jason says hello, and he also says hello to LaBelle. Jasmine says, bruh, my ex would never leave character at the con. Jasmine, oh, baby. You and I can have conversations about your ex. To the point that I had to check him for talking to me like I was actually Harley Quinn. Oh, I'm very familiar, darling. Oh, I'm very familiar. LaBelle, there's more to you than gams. I know there is. I'm also a great set of tits. Nicole says, yes, so many people I've dated, 2 people like this. I'm so sorry. You can date me. I'm not like that. Estevan says, oof, seeing how Deadpools have plagued some of you, I send you my apologies for meeting those unsavory ways. It's true. Oh, it's true. He would be incredibly jealous of any cosplayers that were better than him. Yes, that's what he did. We were Joker Harley, and he was incredibly toxic. 4 years of this nonsense, and you survived, Jasmine. You survived. You got out of it. I'm proud of you. And you always should wear that badge of honor. You got out of a toxic relationship, darling. Nadell says, "Oh God, relationship topic. I have so many words for that." LaBelle says, "Ooh, fashion." Nadell says, "Control, control, control." What's that saying? Might controls everything, and with strength you can't protect anything. Right. Like I said, a lack thereof is the issue. Mental and emotional strength and control. Thank God, Jasmine. Yes, you are more than welcome. But yes, that's the beauty of cosplay. You can act as these characters, but the don't forget that underneath the paint and underneath the makeup, there's a human being there. There's a human being there that should be nourished and nurtured and taken care of. When I'm Winifred Sanderson, when I'm on that floor, I'm twirling, I'm just smiling and wide eyes and just like prancing around. But as soon as I'm done, man, I break character. I'm just like, all right, that's it. Where's the booze? But I mean, that's how some people should act. It's unfortunate that there are so many people out there that don't, and that there are so many people out there that say, "I'm better than you. I'm a better X, Y, and Z than you." Are you though? Cause right now you sound like an arrogant asshole. You may have a gorgeously made costume. You may have even made a gorgeous costume. That doesn't make you the character. One of the things that I've noticed when it comes to, Disney princesses and Disney characters, you're not that character. You're a friend of that character. Learn to separate. Learn to separate the cosplayer from the cosplay. I am Tomcat. I will always be Tomcat. That is my name for everything. That is my nom de guerre. When I'm in costume, I'm that character. And that's my separation. When I'm in cosplay, that is the character that I am playing. If I'm talking to, let's say for instance, I'm at a convention and I'm Ursula. I'm twirling, I'm working my breasts, I'm flailing my hands. As soon as somebody familiar comes up to me, I'm gonna be like, "Oh my God, can I hug you? Can I hug you right now because I've missed you so much?" That to me is the most appropriate way to handle it. Um, oh my goodness gracious, so many comments. Philip, my darling Philip, Canvas Cosplay, go and follow him. No one gets into a costume to not seek attention. Attention is a feel-good stimulant. Some need to feed on it more than others. A byproduct is gatekeeping. Exactly. There is nothing wrong with getting into costume. There is absolutely nothing wrong with cosplaying. There is nothing wrong with it's when cosplayers take it too far. And they make the character their entire personality. Don't do that. Don't be that type of person that will say, "I'm going to do everything in my power to be as exact to this character as possible." Why? Are you are you being are you being paid to be this character? Are you, as a performer, as a cosplayer, as a creative, being asked by agencies to say, "If you're going to cosplay as that character, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars to be that character every moment of your day"? If that's what's happening with you, I want to talk to your agent because I would love that. But I know that there's the difference, and there are some people that need to hear it. There is a difference. Separate yourself. Take yourself out of the character for 5 seconds just so you can see the world around you. You'll realize that those flowers smell mighty good. Um, Lewis says, "What's makeup, you asshole?" What's makeup? I don't know what makeup is. But I am better than you. The only thing you're better at than me at the only thing you, Lewis, are better than me at is losing weight. And that's the extent of your talents. Um The teleporter for me, please. LaBelle, and this subject is one of the reasons why I don't cosplay. I get it. I understand why such a topic would be a reason to step away and be more like an outsider looking in. I get that. I understand that completely. Uh, Lewis says, I always say this. There will always be someone who paints better, dances better, is smarter, has more talent. You're never above anyone. And it's true. I, however, am fortunate because I'm so tall, everybody looks up to me. Johnny says, I love hugging you. And I love hugging you too, baby. Marissa, hi, baby. Hi, sweet cakes. I actually have to hit you up about something. Very important, actually. Jasmine says, it's crazy because how not the case that was with him. Like how impossible it was to get him to detach and actually talk to people. Then when people would approach me and I was actually fucking human with them, they were shocked, like, oh, you're so nice. I thought you'd be a bitch based on how he behaved with people. It's that separation of cosplayer and cosplay. This week on Psych to Go. LaBelle says, also lots of those characters are awful beings. It's true. So true. John Michael Salvato. It's cosplay, not gatekeeping, but that concept to many cosplayers appears to be rocket science. I want to print that on a t-shirt. Oh my goodness. Bunny Maylow, my darling bunny, says, hello, what I miss because this shit happens to me all the bloody time. Nadell, oh my heavens. Nadell says, if the kiddies saw how mean the control freak cosplayers were to fellow cosplayers dressed as the same character can be to each other, wouldn't that be horrible? I like the idea of dressing up as a princess. I like the... Wait a minute. I just lost everything. I like the idea of dressing up as a princess or kid favorite character for the kids at con, because if they see me, they will get super excited, and then it's like, imagine if they saw double or triple of their favorite. I think their all would be better than their shock and disappointment of their favorite princesses being catty as F in front of them. It's true. Chrissy says, my friend has almost walked away from cosplaying multiple times because of this. She is an amazing cosplayer, and luckily we could remind her the real reason she did it. To have fun, make friends, and make others happy. Oh my goodness, so, excuse me. Jasmine says, sharing makeup tips with people was probably the most rewarding feeling because he would never share his technique. Total gatekeeper. And you know what? It really does tie into gatekeeping quite heavily. But I also want to focus on the fact that there are some people that will just make these characters their whole personality, their way of life. I'm if I were to literally take 101 puppies, skin them, kill them, skin them, turn them into a puppy dog coat, I would think I'd be a pretty terrible human being. But there are people that will sometimes go that far. I don't think they'd go as far as homicide, but there are people that definitely have that sort of mentality. Quoting a Simpsons character, I can't recall, that was Maud Findlay. Not Maud Findlay, Maud Flanders. I believe if it wasn't Maud Flanders who said thinking about the children, it was the one, I think, school teacher or parent or something. Where's the shade fan? Oh, glory to the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. As I know. Oh my heavens. Think of the children. Where's the shade fan? Buddy says I am holding them. Rachel says, I mean, if you can't have your own, just buy a personality. Yes. I think it's much easier to buy a personality than it is to take one that already exists. Chris Morgan, oh my love of my life. The only person who has a legitimate claim to be a gatekeeper is Sigourney Weaver. Oh, hell. Agreed. 100% agreed. Jasmine says, you should have seen our bedroom, Tom. Like, this dude definitely identified with the Joker. Like, an argument would lead to some Joker laugh and, like, are you serious? Well, that's just how some people are. Like I said, Jasmine, you and I can talk for hours on end about your ex. But he is not an isolated incident. He's not an isolated source. There are others just like him where they will have this sort of toxic relationship with the character where it's just their whole way of life. And it's really quite distressing. Wait there. Oh my heavens. But John Michael says, but Alexis would throw the puppies in the Instapot with barbecue sauce. John Michael is talking about Alexis Flame. Jasmine says, like, I wish people could have seen how insane he was. Rachel replied, saying some of us did and do agree. Same here. LaBelle, I just want to meet someone who can make and help make Tiana's awful lily pad dress. Hit up Marissa. Hit up Petite Lion. She fabulous. She's a fabulous, fabulous costumer. And also Rachel. LaBelle, hit up Rachel. Lucky Grimm on all forms of social media. Petite Leon on all forms of social media. They will make you that lily pad dress. Bunny says, I get told all the time I am copying another cosplay because I cosplayed something they did like 5 years ago or whatever. But this same cosplayer will then turn around and steal my original characters' designs and ideas. So, like, what the I get it. There was actually an instance. So there are several B. Arthur impersonators, and I suggest you follow all of them. Share the wealth. Thank you for being a friend. And they had posted a picture of Kill Bill with the B. Arthur impersonator's face superimposed onto the picture. So me, in my infinite wisdom, posted a picture of me as Kill Stan, you know, with the yellow and black and the sword and the thing. And it was met with an interesting response. I won't go too much into it, but him and I did end up speaking about it. And we had a lovely conversation, but getting to the conversation was interesting to say the least. And that's just how it goes. You don't gatekeep a character. Don't be the one of a specific character because it just won't be good. It just won't be nice. Don't make the character your entire personality. I don't make Ursula my entire personality. I mean, at one point I did, but I've grown out of that phase. I've grown into this more, grow. I don't want to say grow up, because being told to grow up is incredibly patronizing and condescending. But grow into a different person. Grow into a better version of yourself. That is such key advice that I can give. You get it, Kiki? Kiki with Cat. Oh, what a wonderful. That's it. Catt Chatt from now on is Kiki with Cat. No, it's not. I lied. Karen says, hey, the show I want to see. Oh, you've missed some deliciousness, Karen. Rachel replying to Bunny says, fuck that, do you. You do you, yes. Philip says, I'm going to be the Filipino B. Arthur impersonator. Bea Salonga. Oh, please do it. Please and thank you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's beauteous. Bunny says to Rachel, I do, but her and her circle attack me over dressing up like my original characters and designs. Don't steal that shit. Brian says, Kiki with Cat. I'll be the German B. Arthur B. Ground. Oh, my cups, they runneth over. Oh, my cups, they runneth over. Oh my goodness. And then Brian, I guess, will be the Latino version of B. Arthur. Oh, this pain. Oh, but it's true. You okay? Marissa says you make the character who you are. If you think of famous actors like Tom Hanks, every character he plays is always Tom Hanks, no matter. And it's true that always know that the character you're playing is merely an extension of yourself. But you are not that character. Don't make the character your entire personality. Don't worry about wardrobe. Don't worry about if you want to work out, work out. But if you're working out to look like a certain character, you're only going to do yourself a disservice. Do things for you, not for the character. Don't let the character control your life. Unless you're getting paid to be that character. Then let it control your life for that couple of hours. Karen says a character should be a bit of an inspiration. Don't go copying them and forgetting who you are and how to speak on your own. Don't copy and paste as if you created the line, you are you, not a character. Otherwise, you end up with self-identity crisis. And there are Senorita Arthur Bryan, I hate you. Philip B. Bum Bum. Oh my goodness, the inmates indeed are running the asylum. Oh, it fills my heart with so much gladness. The United Nations of B. Arthur. I'm here for it. Oh, me too. Oh, me too. Oh, this is such a delicious, delicious episode. I'm so glad you're all here for it. But yes, let yourself be yourself. Don't let the character be you. I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to cosplay a character and said, "Well, am I gonna piss anybody off?" I don't care. At this point in my career, if you can call it that, I don't care who I piss off. I don't care. I do for me. Do for yourself. Don't do for other people. Rachel says, "Listen, years of trauma and bad parenting helped build this personality and all its bad coping mechanisms. I'm not trading it in on a shit character." I stand. I stand that statement. Um, yeah, that's really all I can say on the subject. Don't let the character dictate who you are outside of a convention. Don't let a character dictate who you become. Don't let a character dictate what you do with your life. Be inspired by the character, be inspired by the story behind the character, be inspired by what fuels the character, but don't make the character your whole world. You'll only end up disappointing yourself and others around you. um Philip waiting for Beyonce. That would be LaBelle. Beyonce would be LaBelle. Philip B. Baloo. Okay, now this is taking a turn. We could spawn a B. Arthur Con. I hate every one of you. Bunny says that's me all the time. Is this cosplay gonna get me bullied and harassed anymore? It's a sad reality. Oh, as I slobber everywhere. Uh, Nadal, cosplay for yourself. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. Rachel, my God. Rachel says, "Amor, amor, Arthur Con," referencing that famous oh my God, that famous psychic whose name is escaping me right now, but he always used to say "Amor, amor." Chrissy says, "No, you loves us and we love you." It's true. No, I would not trade the people that I've gained from this community for all the tea in China, for all the money in the world. I kiss you all on the mouth. I do. I love you all to absolute bits and pieces. You make my world so much better than it is. Oh my heavens, be Arthur Con. I'm so here for that. Nicole says, if performers can step into a character for a few months, do the show, then get on with their lives, cosplayers can get over themselves. They all need another, or 10, hobby. Walter Mercado. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for that. That's who says I'm more and more. Uh but yes, it's true. If actors can play a character. Now, mind you, there's always going to be, one Dolly Levi. But think of how many other people have played Dolly Levi in the last, 70 years. Carol Channing, Donna Murphy, Bette Midler. Oh God, who was the first? Oh, I could see her face in front of me right now. Oh my God, Ethel Merman. Thank you, Ethel Merman, Carol Channing, Bette Midler, Donna Murphy, Bernadette Peters, Barbara Streisand. So many people have played that one character, that one character, and but they move on. They move on to other projects. There's there's more to you than a Harley Quinn cosplayer. There's more to you than a Deadpool cosplayer. There's more to you than a Batman cosplayer. There's more to you than a Disney princess. There's so many more layers to you than just what's on the surface. Start exploring and experiencing new things as yourself. Be yourself. John Michael responds to Rachel, be somebody's. I hate you all. Transformer Bumblebee. Oh my heavens. Oh my dear sweet heavens. Rachel, I'm from the school of hold my beer and watch this if someone tries to tell me what I can and can't do. Bunny replying to Rachel, I'm gonna need you to be my bodyguard, fam. Oh shit. LaBelle says, well, first things first, stop giving a shit about what others, and there it goes. Stop giving a shit about what others have to say. They're just mad they ain't you. Chris says, you was kind, you was smart, you was important. Be repulsive, Philip! Oh my goodness gracious. Nicole says, opera has just been singers playing the same characters over and over again for 200 plus years. I have zero sympathy for that one Cinderella cosplayer who can't function as anyone else. Oh my goodness gracious me. Nadell says, be original. I'd love seeing more and more of that in cosplay. Originality in a cosplay? I mean, yes, there's the Sunset Dragons, there's the No Flutters, there's the Hannah Alexanders, but even then, there's still that level of control and that level of power over people where it's like, I did it first, so I'm all important. I did it with this fabric, so I paid more, so I'm all important. There's this real interesting, oh God, why can't I think of the word? But there's this real idea that people think that because they did X amount of work, put X amount of money, means that they're so much more important than anybody else. Sweetie, you ain't. Move on. Go on to something else. The only person you're hurting is yourself. Philip, I hate you. Rachel says, also, after many years, I've instilled an aura of fear and asshole so no one dares bully me. I also don't hold back when someone deserves a verbal ass kick. You don't. You pull no punches, and it's one of the things I love most about you. Again, Lucky Grimm, please go and follow this woman. You will not be disappointed. Philip, bee juice. That's coming. Don't you worry. Oh, that's on its way. I'm sure of it. It'll be like zombie with the hair and the pinstriped suit. Karen says, great example of an actor nearly typecasted for a while until they jumped into a new genre. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey as well, many others I can't even begin to name. Jasmine says, elitism. Lynn says, originality in cosplay. Excuse you, Hulk Hogan would like to have a word. Oh, heaven. Annie Lee cosplay, another one. Entitlement, geriatric bee park. Rachel. Oh, sweet and merciful heavens. Oh my goodness gracious. Nadell, no flutter. My heart flutters when I see their work along with Firefly Path. Only more important than the haters who bring us down, right? It's true. It's true. You know, for as much as we say, oh, the cosplay community is awful, the cosplay community is this, the cosplay community is toxic, the cosplay community is that, you are the one who makes the cosplay community what you want it to be. If you're going to be the type of person to be dragged down and bogged down by the words of others, then it's up to you to basically say, no, I'm the person that makes me happy. So I'm going to do what me wants. That's the bottom line. And I really cannot emphasize that enough. You are the most important person in your life, so do what's best for you. If you think stepping away from the cosplay community is what you want to do, then do it. But that doesn't mean that you can't go back into it. That doesn't mean that you should take a break. That doesn't mean that it basically means that you are the person that you are the fulfiller of your own destiny. I guess that's not right. You are the one that creates your own path. If that path involves cosplaying a certain character, do it. But again, don't make that character your whole life. Don't make that character your whole person. Oh, I asked for that. Look at all these characters. Look at all of them. And there are boxes. There are boxes of characters. Look, characters. Nary one the same. Oh, my merciful heavens. I am schwitzing. To the comments. Karen says some people believe as well if they pour in so much money and time into a character, they get the rights and own a character role. No, not at all. Because there will be others that will love to have a try at the character as well. I don't own Ursula. I don't claim to own Ursula. I don't own Mae West. I don't have a right to Mae West. I don't have a right to any of these characters. I play as them. They're not my whole world. They're not my whole life. Sometimes, yes, when I go shopping, I'm like, oh, that's very character centric. That's very good for such and such a character. But that's design. That's not, I'm going to wear this out. But that's the mentality that some people have, where it's like, I'm going to go out specifically so I can have this outfit that this person wore in this series or this book or this cartoon. Anything. Rose, what did I miss? Oh, you missed a lot, friend. Did I miss your 2B cosplay? It's on the way. It is on the way. I still have to buy it, but it is coming. Oh, it is coming. To those who don't know, 2B is from Nier Automata, which is a PS4 game, if I'm not mistaken. Lynn says, if someone really loves a character, then they know that they can't own them. I've had someone be inspired by a cosplay design I made, and I was happy to see that my art inspired other art. At no point does someone own a character. Darn it, sharing is caring. It's true. Rachel says, you get to choose who you are friends with. If you want a small circle, then it's up to you. I get a reputation for being an elitist because I keep my friend circle small, but it's my life. And it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just want to live like I'm alive. Whatever that song was by the John Bon Jovis. Lynn says, I definitely have my favorites, but I'll never base my life around them unless I'm getting paid the big bucks to do so. And that's something that's very important to remember. Unless you're being paid by the corporation that created these characters to be that character, you're not. And even then, once that gig is over, move on. Once, unless they hire you back to be that character full time, you don't own the character. Whether it's in cosplay, whether it's in drag, whether it's in any form of creative outlet, acting, voice acting, what have you. Unless you personally have created that character from the ground up, you don't own that character. Um, Karen says, what matters if you have the heart as yourself to represent the character in your way, which is what makes others and yourself admire what work you have done. Sadly, some people take this too far and get absorbed by the admiration, the fame, and numbers, and then think they're all that. It's heartbreaking when it comes to that, and it's true. You know, again, when a cosplayer, when a person takes a character and makes it their entire life, they think it's going to give them a certain amount of followers, a certain amount of pull, a certain amount of X, Y, and Z. It's not. It's not. I if I auditioned to be Nightwing and I got the role of to voice Nightwing, first and foremost, I would look damn good in that suit. But but the character is not my life. It's a character that I'm being paid to play as. And that the buck stops there. Outside of the recording booth, outside of the convention, I'm me. And there ain't nobody like me. And I feel like there's so many people that need to understand that need to know that there is more to you than just the character. Philip says, swirlies for all. I don't put my head in toilets, although I've definitely dated a few men who could be toilets. Oh, you don't know me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. Oh, Philip, you're my favorite. You are my favorite. Bunny says, so what do we do when we create an OC and that gets stolen by another cosplayer? Do we just move on and go meh, or do we call them out? Like, I hate this. I mean, call them out. But also be the bigger person. Basically say, hey, you know, I know that you may have taken inspiration, but I think you took the inspiration a little too far. Have the open dialogue, have the conversation. Lindsay says, can we also talk about the people who pervert the characters and twist their story to fit a toxic narrative? At Harley and Joker cosplayers who think they are those characters and act like buttheads. Harley is witty, inspiration's a damn doctor, and a survivor of an abusive relationship and trauma. She's not a dumb, ditzy psycho. And that's how some people play the character. But again, that's on them. All we can do is control who we are, and all we can do is control what we do. There's an old Mae West quote. I'm forever quoting Mae West. Basically goes, it's not what I say, it's how I say it. It's not what I do, but how I do it, and how I look and sound when I do it. Or look and move when I do it. And that's very indicative of cosplay. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Are you going to say it as yourself, or are you going to say it as the character? And think of how much saying it as the character is incorporated into your daily life. Don't make the character your entire existence. It's just not healthy. Again, therapy is readily available. And yes, it is unfortunate that there are some people out there that will pervert the relationship to suit a specific narrative. And it's really quite unfortunate. And those people genuinely should be called out on that nonsense, on that level of nonsense. Adele says, I'd call them out in person because WTF the audacity. Brian says, the same goes for actors in movies. People feel like other actors can't play that character. But then again, how many Batmans have we had? How many Batmans? How many Supermans? How many Wonder Women? I think we've only had two. How many Catwomen? How many? Just so many, so many. Lynn's replying to Bunny, if they're claiming to have created the character, I'm of the opinion calling them out. Yes. Philip goes ba 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 ba, and I'm not going to sing. And don't tell me what to say, and don't tell me what to do. And when I go out with you, don't put me on display. Pretty good, you remembered. Oh, the First Wives Club. I'll cosplay as someone from that eventually. Um, Nadell says that's called stealing. They say artists steal from the best, but make it their own. But if you copy and paste, you're an unoriginal thieving little bitch. Lynn says, gotta hop out to destroy some people in Among Us. Love you, Mom. Love you too, baby. Be safe. Don't be sus. Just don't be sus. Lewis says, so many. There's so many Freddies. So many Freddies. There's just so many people, and they all have their own wonderful, warm, unique personalities. You'd think that they would say, huh, I like that personality. We're going to keep it. No, instead they would say, I'm going to be a direct carbon copy of this specific character. But again, that's their interpretation. I say interpretation, and then there's LaBelle. It's called interpretation, and that's what we as actors learn. It's not what we say, it's how we say and do it. Correct. Correct. It is all about artistic interpretation. It's when the person takes that interpretation too far and makes it their whole world. It's awful. It's harmful. It's dangerous. Um because you sometimes then forget who you are. And you sometimes forget just how important you as an individual are. Um Karen says, same goes to many characters. Look at how many Starfire cosplayers there are. Many create her to be hypersexualized when she's not that at all. She is a mature model, but she is a representation of strength from family abuse, overcoming trust issues, never forgetting who she is no matter the trouble she's been through. A friend that will fight for them, the positive yet realistic friend. So much, yet she's dumbed down so much. We, as cosplayers, can take the characters and interpret them however we want. But it's important to know that our personalities, are being infused into that piece of artwork. I'll use Philip and Maui as an example. When Philip is Maui, he's still a friend of Maui. He will play Maui like nobody's business, but he is still a friend of Maui. Maui does not control Philip. Philip controls Maui. Ursula doesn't control Tomcat. Tomcat controls Ursula. Like, we have this sort of idea of control, and the pendulum does swing both ways. Um, and there are unfortunate times when the character does control the cosplayer, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because then it becomes toxic. It becomes gatekeeping. It becomes something that it shouldn't be. Um, where am I? Replying to Lindsay, Karen on the topic of hypersexualizing characters, at all of the kid and anime characters. Oh my! Another thing we can have a long topic of conversation on. It's the creating characters, sexualizing younger characters. That is something that we can save for another day. I want to save it for another day. Um, but yeah, my hope is this: when it comes to cosplay, we will all cosplay different interpretations of the same character. We will all do different things when it comes to the same character. We will not make these characters our whole world. We will not make these characters just our one note personalities. No, there's there's a depth, there's a history in terms of our own unique personalities. And it's up to us to say, this is who I am. This is the person that I want to be and I've become. I am not X, Y, and Z character. I am me, and there is no other me out there. Philip controls Philip controls Maui's heavy as 20-pound hook. You made it 20 pounds, I didn't. But the evil queen controls Tomcat. I've witnessed this firsthand. Receipts. You bastard. Oh my heavens. And people are thank you all. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you, Brian. I want to see these receipts you know so much about. And Adele says, oh, yes, we can. Like, leave my Pokemon characters and those kid trainers alone. Karen says, agree with you. Leave Lilo alone from Ludes, please. Yes. Yes, please, and thank you. Oh, heavens. Yes, it is dependent upon how we represent. But then don't forget the other side. When another person, who technically gets no say, will state what you're representing. Some say they are something respectable, or everything you don't want to hear. Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. They're talking about the new Pokemon game, I think. Karen replying to Lynn's, yes, and that's upon the writers, but ours not actually always the focus. They do it for the money, sadly. And hey, there are some cartoonists out there, there are some studios that will design characters explicitly to be cosplayed as. I look at the entirety of the Legend of Korra, Avatar The Last Airbender series. Every single character from that series can be cosplayed as and cosplayed well. But yeah, that's the long and the short of this episode, and I'm glad it got as much play as it did. I want to thank you all for joining me. It is the 1 hour mark. I was going to cut it off at 40, but then I was just like, no, there's too many comments. I'm not going to. Ow. We love human functions, don't we, kids? I want to thank you all for joining me on this lovely little adventure. I'm sure this is not the last time we will have a conversation about gatekeeping in the cosplay community. I'm sure this is not the last conversation that we will have about character ownership in the cosplay community. Because the cosplay community is forever growing and forever booming. LaBelle says, I just want to be a beautiful Stormer Tiana. That's all. And you will. And you will. I have all the faith in the universe. Oh my heavens, Carol, planning Liz. Like I said, people create Starfire to be hypersexualized, but I did still state to be mature idol because she is supposed to be a female who lives by herself for herself, loving her body, sexuality, and much more. As in modern problems, we see that can be read wrong. They're enjoying their conversation. I am going to tune out. Again, I want to thank you all. Stand by curtain call. Oh my goodness gracious. My God, I'm trying to remember jargon from when I was a stage manager and just right out the door. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me. You will see me again next week. I'm determining whether or not I want to do this at 9:30 or 8:30 again, but I love you all. Chow meow for now, and I'll see you next time on Catt Chatt. And if you want to follow me, you can at that Tomcat on everything. Everything. There will be a website, God willing, soon. But I love you all, and have a good night.